Just waiting for some people to come in. Hi. Hello. Oh wow, there's quite a lot coming in. This is good. How are we all today? Weather's not very nice in West Yorkshire. I don't know about where you are, but it's pretty windy and horrible out there. Hello. Hi. Great to have you here. Brilliant. So we've got quite a few come in. So hello, I'm Juliet Thomas, founder of the Curious Creative Club, and we're starting these sessions every Monday at 1:30. Hello everybody coming in to have some creative inspiration, hopefully, have a bit of creative chat, and I'm going to be setting some challenges too. But first, before I begin that, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what I do and the relationship with Psychologies and things like that. Hi everybody coming in. So I also need to say this is the latest issue out, and if you want it delivered direct to your door, if you go to the link in the bio, there's the latest offer there, so please do have a look. This magazine has got me through lockdown. It's been excellent. So offer over. So what we're going to talk about today is a little bit about inspiration, and then I'm going to set a little challenge for you. But before I begin that, I just want to go back a step and talk about my relationship with Psychologies. So I've been a subscriber for like ever. I love the magazine, always really enjoyed it. And I think it was last year, I became one of their eco panel members, which Ellen, the lovely Ellen Tout, runs. And we review like eco products, and then Ellen writes up about that in the magazine. So that's been really interesting and enjoyable to do. And then during lockdown, I kept going on to Psychologists Connected community page, which is their Facebook group, and popping on my blogs that I do on there just to sort of inspire people. And thankfully, Susie, the lovely editor-in-chief, read one of them and headed over to my website and asked if I'd consider being interviewed live on their Facebook group. So that's, me too. So that's what we did. We talked about my journey with creativity. So for anybody that's come via the Instagram page and the adverts over the last day, you'll see that I look very different. So last November, I got diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, which was a bit of a shocker, but I had 6 months of chemo and I'm through that now, but hence the headscarf, not the hair that's on the picture, but hopefully I'll get back to that very soon. So me and Susie talked about how creativity had got me through lockdown, but also my cancer journey, and that's all kind of part and parcel of what I do. So the Curious Creative Club I set up a year and a half ago now, and it was to combine my interests of writing, photography and art mainly, and then it extended into, it then extended into becoming a blog, which is what I'd always wanted to do. I'd actually, going back, I always wanted to write for a magazine. You know, Psychologies would have been perfect. But essentially what I see a blog as is almost like, thank you, that's really kind, thank you. It's almost like creating your own magazine, just via writing for yourself. But what I didn't want to do was kind of do a regular lifestyle blog, which, you know, nothing wrong with that. I just felt that wasn't the road I wanted to go down. So I ended up, thank you, Wendy, I ended up writing purely about creativity, and I wondered how much I'd be able to write about it, to be honest. You know, I was conscious that there might be a limit to what I could write about it, but actually the more I delve into it, the more there is to discover. So it can be a complex subject in terms of, you know, there's so many well-being aspects to it, but I also like to put practical things on there too and do interviews. Thank you, Anna. I like to do interviews with local creatives too. So that was kind of the main part of the Curious Creative Club for a long time. And then next I set up a lovely group called Wow Wednesdays, which some people are coming in now. And I set that up with my friend Claire, and that was to have almost like a local accountability group rather than a networking group. So that involved a lot of creative people as well, all kinds of people, to be honest, but it's been a really great supportive group, and we hold each other accountable to the things that we want to achieve in a nice way, not in a bossy way. So yeah, that's been really good. And I then started doing writing workshops as well, which I absolutely love doing, and this is kind of almost like an extension of that, I suppose, doing these kind of things today, because I might not be perfect on grammar and all the kind of teacher side of English, but what I do enjoy coming up with is lots of ideas and prompts and challenges, and so that's why we've come about doing this today. Wow Wednesday is based in Huddersfield, so we're in West Yorkshire, Huddersfield. I'm quite on the edge of it in a little village, and it's run at a lovely cafe, Miriam's Cafe. It's called Miriam's Kitchen Table, actually, in Kirkburton. So normally we meet every 2 weeks there, but obviously with lockdown it's become virtual for now. But yeah, that will hopefully open again soon. So the structure of these sessions, what I want to do is essentially I'd love it to become a little bit of a community, and if you're happy to share what you do as a result of these challenges on connected communities, then that would be great, but equally I know not everybody wants to do that. This also kind of came about because Psychologists themselves created a hashtag campaign called Create Yourself, because Susie and the staff at Psychologies found they were doing lots of more creative activities, growing their own vegetables, things like that. So that's how their kind of hashtag and promotion of creative activities came about. But they've always kind of championed that as well. So it was a good fit, basically, between us both. So I think what we'll do is, if there's any questions at the end, then please pop them on. What I'm trying to do is obviously keep track of the comments. This is only my second ever live, so apologies if I miss any. I'm trying to take note of that and then obviously figure out what I'm saying. So if you've got any questions, please do that at the end, and hopefully I'll be able to answer them better. So yeah, the main thing I wanted to talk today about was inspiration. So for those who are kind of new to doing anything creative, it can be really, really difficult to start off with a blank page, whether that's, art, photography or writing. I will use those as examples, but that's, it's not restricted to that. If that's not your thing, then obviously there's a whole ream of creative activities that you can do. Thank you, Claire, and Angela. So yeah, don't feel like it's restricted to that. I just use those as examples. So a blank page can be really intimidating. It's very difficult to kind of just start off from that and come out with some work that you feel connected to. So what I suggest is that themes can really help, and this is exactly what this is about. What I hope to do is set you themes that will get you going. I know from my writing workshops that is what really works. So when people have come along to those and I've given, they might be really terrified of doing any kind of writing, but I give them a theme and all of a sudden you see those light bulbs go on in their eyes and they're off, and that's what I absolutely love. And you have no idea what they're going to come out with. Everybody's entirely different, everybody's got their own ideas, but that's what really works, is just having that slight guidance of a bit of a theme, really. So today I want to talk about things that you're personally connected to, because it can be quite hard to just be told to, say, draw something or write about something if you haven't got a personal connection to it. So during lockdown, I think a lot of people have been digging out their photo albums from their attics and having a look through those, and that's a really good starting point just to get a bit of flow of creativity going. Hello everybody coming in, really nice to see you, thanks for joining. So yeah, an example of this is you might see a photograph from a holiday that you really loved, and we're all missing our holidays right now. Trust me, I am really missing holidays. So there might be a gorgeous picture of you sat in a restaurant overlooking the sea with your family, And that might spike a lot of memories for you from that evening. So this is where the senses come in. So have a think about, what you could see, who was on the beach, what time of day it was, what kind of weather it was. You could have been sat in this glorious weather. I remember a holiday in St. Lucia where we used to go and sit on a platform on the beach and look out towards the sea, but there's quite often really mad storms looking out there. So, that's a real strong memory is weather. There's things like food. So food really evokes strong memories. So it might be that you've had the best scallops of your life at this meal, or, it might be that you had a horrible meal and the waiter dropped a bottle of wine on your husband's white shoes. That has happened to us. So yeah, that can really affect what your experience of that night was and how you remember that. So, you might have had the best cocktail you've ever had in your life that you've never had anywhere else before. So think about those when you're describing things. Another example might be, it was a special family holiday. It might have been a 70th with lots of your family there, and your nephew sat on your knee and called you Auntie Juliet for the first time. Really simple things like that, but it can spark a lot of personal memories. So have a go at doing that. That's one example. Another thing might be to, think about things that you really enjoy outside creative tasks or outside your work. So it might be that you really love a gin and tonic and you can't wait to get to that on a Friday night. Have a go at drawing that, and then if you like it, put it up in your office knowing that you will get to that G&T on Friday. So it's all about sparking those positive and personal connections to the thing that you're trying to be creative with, if you see what I mean. So hopefully that all makes sense. And what I want to try and do is give you a theme each week, and just bear with me and hope that, these things inspire you, but I know they do me. But I will give you some examples and hopefully you'll find them inspiring too. So today the theme is about trees, and this is sparked from kind of a lot of my memories, but also one particular one where I went with my friend Claire, who's on here, to a concert, and the warm-up act was Nell Bryden. And she did a really great song called Shake the Tree and talked about how that motto stuck with her in her head, in that you don't wait for things to happen, you don't stand under the tree for the fruit to fall, you go and shake it and kind of make it happen. And that's always kind of stuck with me and Claire and has become a bit of a theme and a motto around what I've tried to do with the Curious Creative Club. So that's one little story, and I've used kind of that in art and messages and mottos around my home to kind of remind me of that. Another one is a friend that I follow on Instagram who is called Cheryl Rickman, and she's a wellbeing author, and she Claire's just put the apples and the trees on there. And she's a wellbeing author, and she popped something on this week, and I just thought it was a really nice example of what I'm talking about. So she says on her Facebook page, she showed a picture of an Indian bean tree, which I've never heard of, and she popped a quote on there that said, "One of my favourite childhood memories was reading Charlie and the Chocolate Factory under the shade of our Indian bean tree, while my mum sunbathed smiling beside me. I love that we have one here too, so this is my lunch break spot where I read a children's book for half an hour. Takes me back." So that's, very, very simple example, but I know that Cheryl sadly lost her mum quite young, so obviously that memory of the tree is really powerful for her. So that's one example. Some other tree examples might be that, I've got a whole list of them, so I'll start. But a Christmas tree, for example. So, you might have certain rituals around putting that tree up, whether it's yourself and doing it all perfectly, like Monica from Friends, or whether you allow the children to do it. Hi everybody coming in. I have one that I let the children do, and they literally throw every colour, every bauble at it. And then there's one that I do that's, quite nice and colour themed in the lounge. So that's a good example of the kind of rituals around Christmas and the Christmas tree. It might be that, you all go off together to choose a tree in a forest or something like that. So that's one example. A cat being stuck up a tree. So, you might know of your cat or a few cats that have been stuck up the tree, and there's a story definitely in that. There's the example of, the one that you may walk past every day with a dog. I know that, I'll just show you this. So I walk past this tree here pretty much all the time when I walk into the woods. So that's it in the snow. I don't know if you can tell that that's the snow. And then that's it coming back up the path and in summer. So I know when I get to that tree, I'm almost home. So that's, definitely a strong memory for me. There might be the rope on a tree, like a tree swing when you were younger that you used to fly about on. That always has good memories. Or in the woods, there might be creatures in the bark. We often look for, kind of faces that you can see in the bark and kind of build a story around that, make a story around that. So those are the kind of things that I'm talking about, where creativity is genuinely all about showing stories, making stories, and getting that memory or story across. So even if you're painting, I feel inspired by willow trees as they are flexible. Oh yeah, I like that. That's really nice. Yeah, it's lovely. So yeah, it's about getting that memory across to whoever you're trying to get it across to, but invoking that kind of connection. Even when you're painting, there's a very different mood between, say for example, a tree that's in a graveyard where you visit a loved lost one, to one, for example, which I use in the Lorax, the truffle trees with the fluffy hair. That'd be a really fun exercise to do if that's one of your favourite books. So it's a definite different vibe in those kind of pictures, or how you're telling the story. So I just want you to kind of have a think about any kind of personal tree stories that you have, and there will be one. I'm 100% certain that there will be a story around that. And this is what I'm talking about. It's just prompts where you have a personal connection that can then set you off in all kinds of directions. So just to show you kind of how you could do that in terms of art, what I've done before. So this was the drawing that I did after that Nell Bryden concert. So it's like, there's apples hanging on there, there's some apples at the bottom, and it says shake the tree up the side. And it's purely a black and white ink drawing that I now use within my logo. So that's one example. Another one where we did an exercise at our local art club on pointillism, which, boy, does that require some patience. So this is all dots, all made up of really individual dots to create a picture. It takes hours. So unless you've got hours, I don't recommend doing that one. It could be a really simple watercolour picture, which doesn't have to be perfect or exact by any means, and I'm still really learning. Oh, bless you. I'm still really learning with watercolour, but I love playing about with it. So this was one that I did of a bit of an oversized, slightly wonky moon, and then had the sort of fir trees up the side with snow on. So that's another one. I've got quite into needle felting in the past year. So I did some needle felting, and you can now, the printer where I get my cards done, you can actually get those made into cards. Hello, everybody joining, thank you. You can actually make those into cards, and they look quite 3D, so I don't know if you can tell there, but that's actually a needle felt of a Christmas tree. So I did that for some of our Christmas cards last year. I hope that you're realising all of these, none of them are perfect replicas by any means. It's about putting your own stamp on it, going with how you feel, going with what you enjoy most of all. It's got to be something that you enjoy, otherwise you won't do it. This is another one where I've started working on different coloured paper as a background, and it just gives a much warmer feel. So this could be like the almost like the truffle tree. It does remind me a bit of Dr. Seuss stuff with the bark. So yeah, I just spent an afternoon doodling that for absolutely ages, and I tend to kind of put a little phrase or something up the side, and this one is be curious, always look up. Obviously I'm big on curiosity. Hello everybody, thanks for coming in. So yeah, I like to kind of add a little phrase that just kind of, I don't know, just feels kind of a bit more my style. And then photography, so this is just one example of photography, but in the woods there's a bench that overlooks this tree that in the autumn is an absolutely beautiful golden colour, and it's a very, for me it's a very restful picture, and I like sitting on that bench and just watching the tree and breathing for a few minutes. So yeah, those are just some examples of the kind of things you could do, but there's you could go anywhere with this. You could use sticks from the wood and create a model on the floor and do almost like I've forgotten what they called it, flat lay on the floor. You could do that with your kids quite easily. Thank you. And you could think about a family tree. You could think outside the box and do something completely different. You use a family tree and then thumbprints of your family as the leaves on that picture. You could think about, memories where you've been under that tree. So maybe in lockdown, one of the first, thank you Angela, maybe the first thing you did was go and have a picnic in a field where there was nobody else, and you might have sat under a tree. You could recreate that in a photo as a memory for what the kind of things you did in lockdown. So I hope that you're kind of understanding that there's anywhere you can go with this, literally anywhere. Poems, writing, photography, literally anything. You could do all sorts with this. Yeah, Kelly, mine is too, to be honest. My daughter's always saying that she finds it hard working out our family tree. So yeah, maybe if you've got a straightforward family. So that's kind of an example of where to go from this. Like I say, we're not looking for perfection at all. We're looking for practice makes progress. That is what I preach, and that is exactly what I talk about to everybody. Everybody starts off from a beginning point in this. I started going to art group 3 years ago, and I'm, still got an awful lot to learn. But the only way you can start learning is by starting and having a play yourself and having a go at these things. So I hope that gives you a bit of inspiration, and yeah, big family trees could be an issue. So I hope that kind of gives you an idea of something that you could work on before next week. And I'd love it, like I say, if you would share it on Psychologies connected communities, just to kind of create a little bit of a community vibe and support each other. That'd be really nice. And one thing to, if you are new to this, what I want you to do is really note how you are feeling when you are doing these things. So are you feeling a lot calmer, getting rid of that mind chatter of the daily bombardment of news? Are you feeling what we call in the flow state, which is where you're just focusing on one thing and really concentrating, and it brings about this very kind of meditative state, but what I call almost like active meditation. So just note how you're feeling. It might be that you're feeling really energized and want to do a load more, which, would be great. Go off and do that by all means. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this. I really want you to kind of notice how you're feeling when you're doing it, whether it is something that you've really enjoyed and benefited from. Get the family involved. Some of us have still got children off school, mine included. So if you're wanting to do something different with them, then this would be a great exercise for them as well. So I think I saw a question from Wendy further up, but I was trying to concentrate, so I might have missed that question. So if you want to just type that again, Wendy, if you want. If there's anybody else that's got any questions around this, by all means start popping them on now. But otherwise, how do you feel about this task? Does it feel doable? Have you got family memories and personal memories around trees? I'm hoping so. So yeah, just let me know what you think, and if you have got any questions, pop them on now. Otherwise, I think we're nearly done. And what I will do is, like I say, every week I'll come up with How do you share your creativity, please? Right, okay, so it's on Psychologies Connected Communities Facebook page, which it's a group, but I think you don't really have to join. It's not like a joining group, I don't think. So yeah, please pop it on there. You can put the hashtag create yourself, which is Psychologies hashtag. I think Wendy asked what you would say to people who think they're not creative. Haha, very good question, Wendy. And we know very much that you are creative from the work that we're doing together. But I think before that you might have thought you weren't, but you definitely are. So for all those people that think they are not creative, I love it when people say that, because everybody is. I believe all humans are creative in one way, shape or another. So it might not be that you're the world's best artist, but I bet you could bake a really good banana bread loaf. Or you might think, I can't write in a million years, but you can take some really good photos. So there will be a way that you are creative. I have full belief in this. My husband would probably say he's not very creative, but give him a load of wood and he will build something out of it, and he genuinely likes cooking as well. So creativity is not always just about those core things that you might associate with that. It can be problem solving, it can be doing a jigsaw for the afternoon like my mum does. If you're in that kind of focused problem solving mode, then that is you using thank you, that is you using the creative half of your brain. Even just doodling, it's still having that same effect. So, or if you're into interiors like the lovely Claire is from My House Candy, it's styling your home, making sure that's really funny, Claire. I will find one. I will have a think and I will find one. Is he good at mixing cocktails? Maybe that. I don't know. Coming up with some creative footballing skills. There'll be something. Music's another one. If you play an instrument, then you're being creative. I think it's such a misconception that people, if they aren't artists or if they aren't writers or if they aren't those core creative things, are not creative. It's just a myth. There will be something, I guarantee. Even if it's you're very business minded and you come up with some great you see, I knew there'd be something. Go and tell him that. If you're in a business meeting, it might be that yes Kelly, sorry to interrupt, but yes, there's a phrase that some of my friends have been along to. Our friend Adele Doxley, who's an artist, and we've been to some of her workshops, and she always says paint for the bin, and that is a really good way of putting it, because it doesn't have to be some perfect masterpiece that can go on your wall. It's about having that playtime, that experimentation time, and if you're painting for the bin, it doesn't matter. But I bet, by the end of it, you won't want to put it in the bin. It'll be something that you'd just love to carry on with. So yeah, good point, Kelly. So yeah, if just go back into a business meeting, it can be problem solving or thinking outside the box, coming up with things that other people in that meeting might not necessarily come up with. So there are a whole ways of, yes, that's right, Anna, if humans weren't creative, we'd never have got this far. Absolutely true. We'd have never made those tools back in the day. So yeah, I believe everybody is. So I hope that's given you enough to work with for today. I'm going to pop this task in Connected Communities later on today as well, just to give you a bit more detail, and hopefully that will help you. And yeah, by all means, please do share. Hi Joe. I'm actually just about to finish. Sorry, Joe. So I hope that helps, and if you've got any questions, feel free to DM me. Oh yes, that's a note actually. Please do, thank you Claire, please do follow me on my socials. So I'm at the Curious Creative Club on Instagram, the Curious Creative Club on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram a lot. So if you've got any particular questions, you can DM me on there, and I really look forward to seeing all what you create. Go wild, do whatever you want to do. Throw a load of colour on there, do it black and white, however you want to do it. Please just play and have fun with it. That's what it's all about. So I hope that was useful and really enjoyed the first session. Woohoo! First one down. And I will be seeing you very soon next week on Monday at 1:30. And just to remind you, if you do want this delivered to your door, go to the link in the bio and the offer is there. So thank you so much, and thank you to Psychologists for allowing me to do this. I hope it's going to be a lot of fun and I hope people get a lot out of it. So thank you, and I will see you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye. Happy creating. Bye.